Hey yo, what's good? It's your man Trey, the commish. I got my man CC. Y'all know what it is. First formations powering the football manifest. This time it's Thursday night. What's good, CC? What's going on?
Man, ready to get it. There's a lot of stuff to talk about real fast. Woo!
It is. So you gonna say shots out first and foremost to all our squads this weekend as they all got the W this week. I ain't gonna say a rare event has happened before, but it was at the time in which you needed. The 49ers just came off of L. The Cowboys had came off of L. And of course, the Eagles, for the most part, have been doing what they do. But we're gonna talk about that because I see things. Me and CC was just talking about it. I think we got a difference of opinions, kind of maybe lead to the same things, but that's probably going to be the bane of our conversation this afternoon. Uh, which is unfortunate that Bishop isn't here right now to sit up and defend or concur with what we're saying. But in any case, it is what it is. This was an interesting week. I say that first. Let's get to talk about the college, the CFP, CC. Your opinion, the CFP. Are you in agreement with the top five this week for the CFP? I think it ain't no one changed, honestly.
I know you only changed Georgia, right? Georgia's
Yeah,
what's up there, right? But they was in top five. They just moved up to four.
correct.
Who went to five?
I'm pulling it up now.
Who went to five?
Um, The top five for the CFP college
Yeah.
ranking is number one, of course,
Okay.
Ohio State. Number two, Indiana. Number three, Texas A&M. Number four, Georgia. Number five is Texas Tech. Um,
Yeah.
and then six is Ole Miss. So Alabama fell out. That's what happened.
Yeah. I know Alabama fell, but because they lost to OU. But I think I'm more six through 10 is what got me more into it than the top five. Well, Texas Tech. I mean, they playing good football, if you say so, but they're in the Big 12. I mean, are they really playing? Like, are they really playing teams like the rest of the? Like OU just played Alabama. Alabama just played OU. Georgia just played Texas. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, like Ohio State, they ain't playing nobody.
Now,
Texas Tech ain't playing nobody. You know.
and when you look at it, the top three are undefeated. The top three, 10 and
hmm
0 for Ohio State, Indiana's 11 and 0, and Texas A&M is 10 and 0. But Texas A&M is about to get to the gauntlet. 2 games remaining in the regular season. Then, of course, the division or the conference championships for those top tier teams, and then, of course, the bowl game season. So right now, when you look at it, oh, Ohio State and Indiana look like they're on a crash course for the atop the Big Ten, in which we're going to see how that goes. Ohio State, of course, has their big rivalry game against Michigan coming up in 2 weeks. Indiana is just kind of like buying their time. Texas A&M was about to get into their rivalry game with Texas in 2 weeks. Will they at that point? It could be a whole different change because before we even get to the conference championships, it could be a change. Well, I guess they'll still be the same ones in there, but I was about to say it'll be a change. You might have Ohio State could potentially can lose to Michigan. Texas A&M could potentially lose to Texas. But I don't think that's going to unseat them from being in those positions again. But it just now put a little different spin on the CFP. I think in the ones at the top of that. Additionally, like you're saying, if you continue down the rankings, Ole Miss, as I was saying, is number six. Oregon is seven. Number eight is Oklahoma State. Number nine is Notre Dame, of course, the independent. Number 10, Alabama. 11 being BYU. Utah is 12. 13 is Miami getting back in there after they had a quick start. 14 is Vanderbilt, 15 is USC, 16 is Georgia Tech, number 17 is Texas that falls, of course, um, handily 7 spots after their loss, the probably the top ranked, biggest ranked three lost team. Michigan is number 18, 19 is University of Virginia. Um, Tennessee comes in at 20, 21 is Illinois, 22 is Mizzou, 23. Houston, welcome to the party. Houston is back in the game. Tulane also initially not ranked. So the last five, Illinois, Missouri, Houston, Tulane, and Arizona State currently wasn't worked in the CFP. Now they're in there. So yeah, with two more, like I said, two more games to play, we don't know how it's going to go. Of course, being that I think this week's biggest game should be Oregon and possibly USC. I think I didn't look at the rest of them, but Oregon USC this week 8 versus 16. I mean 15. I mean correction 7 versus 15. Uh, currently, so that might be a big game. It's going to get interesting.
Well, USFL, man, y'all had one job to do, and y'all couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had one job, but stay afloat, and then y'all right there, and y'all being talked about. Y'all still could probably make it if y'all end up in y'all conference championship game and winning that. But I'm saying y'all had the prime chance to be right there, be 11 seed, be a 12 seed, going into the playoffs because we know 12 and 11 on the. We know that the 12 teams that's listed as top 12 in the country. We know they're not making it, and they're not all making it there.
Correct.
Two of them teams gonna drop off, and you're gonna add the other two. So you're really looking at the top 10. You really want to be in the top 10 if you not gonna win your conference or be in your conference discussion. But Ohio State, man, I got to see y'all play somebody. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that Ohio State Michigan game. And Michigan, you better not disappoint, man. You better show up, man. Like for real. I think they done won five straight against OSU. So
Yeah, but that's when back when Harbaugh was the Jim Harbaugh was the coach. So we of course that's not the case anymore. And it
they beat
is
them last year with Sharon Moore as the coach. They beat them last
correct.
year.
You're
They done
right.
beat them
You're right.
five
You're
years.
right. Yeah,
They done beat
you're
them
right.
5 years in a row. So Ohio State, can you overcome Michigan? And if Michigan beat them, then you got to start talking Michigan in the equation. It's too many scenarios. I mean, Notre Dame is skating, but I will say this though: the surprise to me is Ole Miss at how long they've been hanging in there. Like they normally be done fell off by now. They normally start off ranked pretty good for most of the years, and then they take some tough SEC losses and they out of there. So this year, that the fact that they hanging in there, that Ole Miss is really riding it out like that, it says a lot about the coaching. And they wasn't this good with Jackson Dart. Just remember that they was decent,
Mm.
but they wasn't this good.
So if the like you said, based off what CC was just saying, right now, if the college football playoff was to begin or had was ending, on Ohio State would be the number one seed, second seed would be Indiana, third seed Texas A&M, and fourth seed would be would still currently be Alabama, right? Um, but Oregon would be facing off against Texas Tech, the 9 versus 8. Memphis against Georgia, at the 12 versus 5. Ole Miss, I mean, versus Virginia at 11 versus 6, and Notre Dame and BYU at 10 versus 7. Not bad matchups in my opinion. When you look at that, that's not. I mean, it could have been worse. Things could have been worse, and of course, this is from last week. Still, I see, but that's not the worst. I think they're pretty. Those are actually probably
Bad.
pretty well matched, except for the Memphis Georgia game.
But that's bad. This is why that's bad. No Longhorns. No Longhorns automatically makes it bad as a fan, but no, that's disappointing. The expectations on the Texas Longhorns starting from the season till now is disappointing. So the only thing you can do is beat Arkansas this week, and then next week, and then the week after that, handle business against Texas A&M and give yourself a chance because you done blown all the chances. You got one chance left, maybe, to save your season. You know, it's funny how they started off here and then they going down. But then you look at USC. I'm gonna mention your team because y'all didn't have no expectations. But would it be a surprise if something was to happen and then y'all leapfrog, come close to getting in there or getting in there? You know, a 10th seed or something slipping in there. I mean, it's still a lot of football to be played. These next 2 weeks going to decide a lot. I don't even expect, in the smaller conferences, I expect the conference championship games to decide something, but it's pretty much the fate for these other teams, whether they win their conference championship or not, they're going to be in the playoffs. Like you looking at Ohio State and Indiana in there, no
Yeah.
matter what happens from here on out, right? So does that make it good or does that make it bad that we know that certain teams gonna be in there?
So I mean, I guess there has to continue to be due process for the most part because even like you was just saying, like the expectation, which you had said, USC as a dark horse, but we all know that expectation lives or dies on the field this weekend versus Oregon. Like if USC loses to Oregon, now they become a third ranked, a 3 loss team. Although their other 2 losses came against ranked opponents that were ranked higher than them at the time at a total of 12 points. But I also look at it as how they lost those games. Like, yeah, they a total of 12 points, but they gave up over 200 some yards to one player in Notre Dame. So that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, and that's love. So you know what I'm saying, you have to
Love.
take, yeah. So you have to take that type of stuff in consideration, and then India and then Illinois skirted past them. So but now look at where Illinois is. So it's interesting, but they're considered to be a dark horse. But we know that dark horse, that light could be turned out, TV off, like we said last week, TV off if they lose to Oregon. So now
No.
if they beat Oregon, now we have a potential for a game, you know what I'm saying? It's game on at that point. So you look at that, Texas, um, almost completely gone. Oklahoma look like they might be sitting pretty and just waiting for it to get into the there to see if see what the expectancy of them potentially getting into their SEC championship week game and taking a chance a shot at whoever that might be at that point. Where right now it's looking like it's going to be Georgia. So is there OU and Georgia possibility on the horizon? We don't know. We still got some games to be played. Um, Alabama still has to play against Auburn. That's all usually a game. So there's a lot going on. Like you said, true enough, it's still a lot of football to be played. There's no telling what that aspect, but it's looking like it's finna get kind of juicy though.
Yeah, and I guess the main thing. Hello, how you doing?
What's up,
How you
Dale?
doing, fam? I guess the biggest thing I can say about the CFP is they trying, but I still don't like some of the way they select in the teams. I mean, I don't have no problem with the top three; they all undefeated. But
Mm-hmm.
you can put them in, but you can switch the order. I don't know if that's even going to matter when it comes down to the playoffs. And I'm glad they got a playoffs to decide it because we all the talk been about those three teams, so we're gonna get to see those three teams do their thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if Georgia won it all or something, man. Like because Kirby Smart, you got to give him his credit. I mean, even though I feel like the SEC got the worst officiating crew ever, like seriously, and they make a lot of bad calls, and a lot of them calls end up going Georgia's way when they happen to be on the field. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that throws me for a loop, but I'm not gonna hold that against them. But yeah, so just know SEC championship game or whatever game, when you play Georgia, you got to play the refs too. You got to. My mama used to say they got to beat them in the refs too. Yeah, you got to beat them in the refs too, man. So they come in with it, like for real. Um, and Trey, I wanted to ask you that before we get off the
Yes.
college football. When officiating gets that bad and start taking over the games like that, because I heard they said that they suspended a guy or something, or whatever. But is that enough though? Like, is that enough to send a message?
So I guess I think in a way, right? Because for what we know, the officiating officials make a lot of money. Like officials, most officials, that's their side hustle. So they're making 60,000 plus on a side hustle, which means they're already doing something that's making them pretty good money, and then they side hustling, and you got to think it's a levels to it because they only get selected to like move up into the NFL based on the fact that they made their bones in college. So you got to think they got to be top tier teams in college as well as, even from the lower level, like where myself and Bishop like officiate. Like I'm, of course, I consider myself still a rookie in it. Bishop's been doing it for a while. Matter of fact, he's out doing it right now, but just in basketball. So it's like you still move up. There's still a lot of officiating jobs, stuff to be done in roles and stuff like that. So of course you find yourself on those good teams, or you are part of good crews and stuff that go out there, take care of business, proficient in their duties and all that type of stuff, and you move up. So I think at the point where you get to a point to where you got to get suspended, and you're already kind of like getting to that pinnacle portion to where you can move up again into the next echelon. That's got to be rough, but it's unfortunate too, because it's to sub like you just up and said, the worst officiating this year has been the SEC, and these are crews. This isn't just one or two people. These are crews. Like, you keep a crew together for the most part. Maybe a 4-man. Let's just like playing basketball, a 3 or 4 or 5 man rotation. So you have a 4 or 5 man rotation in that crew ready to go, and of course the selections get made, and you go from there. So that way y'all build a rapport when you're on the field officiating. You know, you ain't got to worry about this man jumping into my area. Like, we just watched a basketball game, right? And somehow, some way, there was a official on the baseline or near the baseline where a foul occurred. But the official back coming down across the court at half court made the call. So, I'm looking at where they do that at. How did he make the how did he see that call and say that he had a better vantage point on that call, right? But I know, like I said, speaking to Bishop, sometimes it's a little bit different in basketball. So you have to take it, you have to look at, some people have zones from the rim on up and all this other type of stuff. But I think that definitely him making that call. So it could be, sometimes you can get caught up in the game. Sometimes it's just one of those things. So it's I think it's rough being the official in general. Like Texas, I don't know. I think Louisiana too had to put rules in place for you badgering and belittling officials and stuff like that, where you can sit up and be fined, thrown out, and all that type of stuff. It's rough. I remember officiating for and playing during tournaments and stuff like that, or doing and with while I was in the army, and the fans are horrible. It's like, if you make a, because you got to think it's two sides, right? It's two sides, so you're potentially going to be wrong every time based on the
Every time.
possession. So,
Every time.
saying, and they be like, "You suck, ref." Saying, "Yo, whack ass." Saying, so you got you second guessing your calls. Is like all kind of stuff, man. So it's a rough position to be in, and
Oh.
I try to take it in consideration when we be out there coaching and stuff like that, because I get it, but sometimes, but
Hmm.
at the same time, I get it too. So it's like, yo, how did you make that call? Like, how do you mess that up? So I mean, it's pretty interesting, man. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's like when I was at the Chiefs game, I heard them, that ref, you suck, ref, you suck.
And the whole stadium, we talking about
That's the
20,000
whole stadium.
people.
That's the whole stadium. Like, yeah, that's tough. But switching to that, the officiating, man, that officiating Monday night, man, like that Monday night game. I mean, I gotta go there, Bishop Hill, not man. That Eagles game, that that pass interference was like,
That
that
was
was a
bad.
lane pass.
Even
That was,
Bishop said that. Yeah, that was
that was
bad. Like, and that might
yeah,
have cost him the game.
yeah, but I can't say that cost Detroit the game, because you go for it 5 times, two in your own on your own part of the field. Man, one, punt the football, and two, what you paying the field goal kicker for if you're not going to take the 3 points? I don't understand Dan Campbell. I mean, you lost
So,
by 6, right? What, you lost by 7? What was it?
uh,
16-9, I think. 16-9, or something like that,
and
right?
that's what I was about to say. Like, do we, if in essence, if we looking at that, does Detroit fare well had they went for, like you said, had they excuse me, had they went for it during that time frame? I don't know. It's like I'm trying to pull it up. I'm trying to buy myself to get back and pull
Well,
it
they
up. So,
well they
like
missed
you
the
said,
extra point too, so it would have been 10. Like, they missed the extra point. They got it
so
blocked
they
or
was
something.
16. The final score was 16-9, like you said. If they get those two field goals, that's 12 to if they get the two field goals in the red zone, that's 12. Um that's oh crazy, 15. You might be right. It might have been.
How Philly kick it through the uprights? I mean, I get it. It's how it wins, but how Philly get it through the uprights? Like, I don't want to hear that. Philly kicked what, 3 field goals?
Yeah.
Period. Philly kicked mostly field goals in that game. What are we talking about? Like it's the same game. I mean, you talk about they had to go for it. Oh, they didn't have to go for it. Dan Campbell just makes some crazy decisions to me. And like to me, he saw that his defense was playing well. I get that, but what was ticking me off about that game was, man, not only are you not taking the points, you're not even playing the same game that the Eagles are playing right now. The Eagles can't score on you. You can't score on them. Man, take the point. Take the point.
So
Three field goals, you win that game by 2 points. The way that game was going, man, you
I
gotta.
definitely think and feel that it's just like we just talked about with the official. It's two sides. So you're going to be wrong. So Campbell was going to be wrong no matter what. He's going to be wrong to the Philly
Yo,
fans or he's going to be wrong to his home constituents, the Detroit Lions. And basically, he came out on the wrong side of that. Like we know Dan Campbell as a person that pushes the line in that. And when you look at it, it was probably some bad decision making, like you going with Gibbs as opposed to as opposed to going with Montgomery in certain
yo,
aspects.
and that was something that I will just say. I think you got it reversed right there. Jameer Gibbs was getting you up and down the field, but every time you needed a meaningful play, that man was standing on the sideline. I didn't understand the game plan. I didn't understand. I didn't. 3rd and 3. I know Montgomery's supposed to be a runner, but I gotta put Gibbs. Gibbs was juking him. He was putting up a fight. Like like the numbers wasn't all that great, but he was doing better than anything you had out there. But every meaningful situation, this guy is standing on the sideline. It's like, man, Dan Campbell. I get it. You calling the plays, but man, do better than that. I mean, Jameer Gibbs was the pace setter for your team, and I needed to see more of him, especially down the stretch of that game. I needed to see a lot more of him. For real.
It was as I was sitting watching it and looking at it, and you could see the frustration in Goff's face. You could see the frustration. You could just see it all, like this isn't going as planned. It's like every little step I hear new addition in the background, and it's like every little step I take, and it's not going. It's just it couldn't get it going. Like you said, 5 4 and outs where they had them, but each 4 and out would have put the Eagles' backs against the wall, even down to the final minutes in which that pass in that phantom pass interference caused it to be some unrest and stuff like that. So they was in the game, like in which it was a good game for the most part. And of course,
Yeah.
because of the Philadelphia Eagles winning, that basically allowed like our weekly standings that allowed Bishop to get back in it. Like I was up by 2 games or at that point. Or and then when they won because Bishop picked up that game and I lost that game, that put us at a tie. And then me and him and then yourself also had the Cowboys, which basically put it at which both all three of us was double digits. It's just one had just me and Bishop had one more game more. Like moving on right to that Cowboy game. What did you think about the performance in the Cowboys Las Vegas game? Dak Prescott
I'm
268.
I'm looking forward to this is what I'm looking forward to. I want
Okay.
to see this so-called revamped defense, this defense we got against the Eagles this week. I mean, we played the Raiders. I'm not gonna put a whole lot into the Raiders. I told you the Raiders was tanking. That's my opinion. I'm not sure the Raiders are tanking, but it look like they tanking to me. Like the eye exam still say they tanking, man. You got Ashton Genty. I know I said Ashton Genty ain't as good, but he ain't this sorry. Y'all ain't even running the football. You know, you're not lying. It was practice. That's what I was saying. Like it's like Trey. Correct me if I'm wrong, man, but it's like as a coach, wouldn't you be trying to do everything to boost your like you're getting your butt kicked? I mean, build up the confidence. At some point, just hand the football. Stop letting Gino throw it and just hand it off to Genty. I need to see him touch it 30 times again. One game. Pete Carroll, let him touch it 30 times one game, and you might win that game. You might find a formula or something because what you doing ain't working. Like, why you. That's why I say a coach like Pete Carroll, man, his pedigree, it's in his DNA to be a winner, and this is what you're doing right. I think either Pete's done, either Pete is washed, or they taking.
So I don't know if you see it. To me, they didn't help Geno out. His receivers didn't help him out in during the game, and that's rough. And some stuff you gotta take in consideration. Like, hey, it can't. What more do you want me to do? Uh, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So and Brock, you know what I'm saying. Even so, it was a lot of unfortunate situations that happened where he didn't get Geno didn't get help. He didn't get helped out. Pete Carroll's probably sitting up and wondering, like, at this point, what can I do? We're calling the plays. Evidently, Geno's getting you the ball. What is going on? So that was an unfortunate situation. While on the other side of the ball, you got George Pickens, 144 yards receiving,
man,
Dak
that
268 yards passing, uh, Javante Williams with 93 yards rushing. It's like it's not all eye popping, but it's enough to move the needle. 33-16. You got Overshawn's back. He's doing his thing. You got Quentin Williams was still doing, like, at some point everyone was cooking. Like, it didn't make a difference what was going on so and then, you know what? Going back to the Philly game and this game, I want to say that those last second trades are paying off. Phillips, I think, made a difference in the for the Eagles in their game. And I ain't gonna say Williams, but what's his name? Who did y'all trade for Micah Parsons?
Kenny Clark.
Clark, a difference maker. He made a difference. Like,
I, I think
I don't see too much fall off,
I
honestly.
think they both did. I think they both. I think because Quentin Williams, man, he, you know, a sack and a half just first game. I mean,
Yeah.
first game. Where that's been at? We needed that. It's like where that's been at. So somebody getting to the quarterback, some pressure on the quarterback for a change. So yeah,
So
but
you
like
got
I said, it's the Raiders. If we can do that against Hurts, if we can get with no Lane Johnson, with Lane Johnson being out
oh
this week,
yeah.
if we can take advantage of that offensive line in some way somehow, then I say we doing all right. But I mean, I gotta. Like this early eye test is like,
Y'all
I don't want to fall
secondary.
for the move though.
Is this the I mean, I know we don't want to get too far into because we got a conversation to have on the show on Sunday, but we want to make sure you keep the content. But it's I mean, we're going to definitely see y'all got a couple of key players back in the secondary. So I mean, is it up from here? Do y'all turn the corner or what it has? We're going to see. And we're going to discuss that more, of course, on Sunday. A couple more things. San Francisco, 41-22. Brock Purdy back. Although Jacoby Brissett, 452 yards.
but it's all for naught. I mean, you know what? I'm impressed by Jacoby Brissett this year. Like in the years past, I've been like,
You have been
when is he
very
going?
critical of
I'm gonna
him.
keep it real, but man, he's showing that he can quarterback in the NFL this season. Man, he's showing that hey, he's playing smarter, he's playing faster. I mean, he's doing a lot of things different. The only thing is man, he always on bad teams. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just always see him on bad teams.
But
You
could
know,
you think about it? Like, so we can't say necessarily he's on a bad team because his first team was the New England Patriots. So you know, what I'm saying
but he wasn't the starter on that team. I'm talking
yeah, well,
about,
true that. Yeah, I thought true that. But I'm saying when he got his turn, he was on a team that he was still. And we're talking about Bill Belichick in the heyday when Brady was still there,
hey,
not like you know what I'm saying that. So he's shown, of course, and just like Jimmy Garoppolo, I think it was something to be taken from those teams. And when they went and got their own teams, now Brissett is currently on his own team. Where almost it seems like I'm that he's going to supplant that he's going to supplant I don't know how his. I
Kyler
just
Murray.
got his name. Yeah,
Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. He's going to supplant him for the rest of the year potentially, and now he's in a Sam Darnold situation where he's playing to see like, hey, am I enough to at least be the bridge to whomever is going to back in that situation again. Except for the May situation ended horribly for him because he didn't get off the ground at all. But he's showing, you know what I'm saying, and he's doing this. He doesn't have Harrison Jr. So it's like he's doing it with the running back. They down to that third string running back. Like he's doing it with replacement players. And so
And Justin
it,
Fields can't do it with a slew of starters with with some talent. Like it ain't like Justin Fields out there with no talent, man. But I just had to throw that in there with that Justin Fields. But
Well, yeah, because I mean that's a good point because Justin Field he's been benched, right? He's gonna now is to Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor
your
is
guy,
now back. I'm big on Tyrod.
your guy,
My man Tyrod Taylor, what I'm saying? I mean, I wish Tyrod Taylor was in a 49er many of years. But Tyrod now gets an opportunity to show. And you gotta think Tyrod has missed on the plenty of opportunities. Tyrod was supposed to be the starter in San Diego back before that last year before they became the
yo, the
Los
LA,
Angeles Chargers. And he got that
the injection
injury.
in the chest, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that
I never
messed him
forget
up.
that.
And
Like that
then
was one of the weird. That was weird.
yeah, the injection in his chest, which he never got a chance to play. So Herbert took over. He became he hasn't relinquished. Tyrod goes on to I think not Jackson. Did he go to Baltimore? I know he was in New York at one point. And then he gets injured in New York. Like every time Tyrod is up for him, he always has issues in those problems.
Yeah,
So
some
now in the spin the block for him, and now he has an opportunity. So they definitely have an opportunity. What's good, Irma? Good afternoon. How are you doing? So glad to have
well,
you
they trying
fall in
to.
with us this evening.
So, the 49ers, man, that team, I don't know, with the way the Bears playing, it's gonna be a fight to get into that playoff picture.
That's seven. That's
I
the
got the
ending.
yeah, like the fifth, no, 6 and 7 is gonna be brutal in the NFC, because you got so many teams that's gonna be fighting for it. I don't know if the Bears gonna stay number one, which I was dead wrong on the Bears this year. I don't know how I was that wrong. The season ain't over yet, but I was dead wrong. Like they got 7 wins. Look up, they way better than they were last year. They got seven
Last year,
wins, and
correct.
and I listen to people. I listen to people today say it's all luck, it's all this, that, whatever. I don't care what you call it, wins or wins, and these were the same games they was losing last year. They finding ways to win them all now. So look out for the Bears in that. I didn't have them in my early picks in that division. I had them finishing fourth. Looked like Minnesota going to finish fourth in that division. Looked like Minnesota go, and I had Green Bay going to the Super Bowl. But now I'm starting to think Green Bay may not even make the playoffs. They, they struggling against teams that can play some defense like they can. So yeah, that might be a problem for
It's
them.
it's always like you said. It's always a difference. It's the huge difference once what I'm saying until you get on the field and people get to slanging the things and people start getting punched in the mouth and realizing like, oh wow, we it's we look good on paper or with the majority of the picks. So it's one of the things. Another surprising game, or was it Kansas City Chiefs, Denver Broncos? Kansas City falls. Down goes Kansas City 22-19. Bo Nix 295 yards on an evening. Uh Defense, bruh. Defense win ball games. Denver, Seattle, Philadelphia. Defenses have shown to do their thing and win ball games. Seattle's one came up a little short as they took an L to the Rams. But I mean, it wasn't like a blowout, 21-19. Pittsburgh is starting to show some promise. Um, they got they dub. They continue to get dubs 34 to 12 over Cincinnati. Of course, Cincinnati's going to be this week is going to be without Jamar Chase.
Spitting again, man. Somebody spitting on somebody, man.
The
I know we're gonna talk a
disrespect.
lot Sunday, but I just, man, but that right there, man. I see that. Yeah. I don't know how you could feel that way about, like it's just football, man. Why you spitting on people? Like you deserve to be punched in the face. Like, I, you're lucky you got a helmet on. That's all I can say about that. You're lucky you got a helmet on. Like seriously, like that's messed up. But I don't want to get too far into that. I want to go back to the game. I do want to put this out there. The Ravens, they coming for the Steelers. He popped up right on top. I was just about to say the Ravens are getting back in that race. They coming for the Steelers. Uh, I knew the Steelers was gonna hold them off this week. I'm not so sure about this upcoming week with those lucky Bears coming into town, Pittsburgh. What you gonna do, Pittsburgh? Uh, but yeah, they coming at them. Like like I don't know.
He said,
Like see Trey, this is what I want to say. My no excuses, and that's what I'm getting to, Scott. My no excuses is Mike Tomlin. Everybody saying you a good coach, you this kind of coach, you a great coach, you this, that, whatever. Now is the chance to prove it. I mean, you got a slim lead. The lead is slipping away. Your quarterback is hurt now, so you got an excuse. Your quarterback had to hurt his wrist. He's not on his throwing hand. He
It's
done
not his
hurt. He done
throwing hand.
fractured his wrist. He done fractured his wrist, whether Aaron Rodgers play or not. Let's see if you can hold on to that slim lead and win that division. If you lose that division, hey, I'm not giving up on you. I'm just saying, hey, it's time to talk about a different story if you lose. Because you had a huge lead, and now that gap is getting smaller and smaller. So, hey, I want to see what you got on it. And remember, you waited to the last minute to get Aaron Rodgers.
So before we get into this week's game, what about the two overtime games that happened over the course of the last week? The first one being the Miami Dolphins in overtime versus the Washington Commanders. Marcus Mariota, 213. He was a top passer. Devin Achane, 120 yards rushing. Debo Samuel was the top receiver. What do you say in reference to Miami making a late season push? Like they're not getting in the playoffs. We don't expect that. However, they're starting to be cause issues across the board for other teams. Do you think Miami turning around to where McDaniels keeps his job and Tua continues to be able to be a starting quarterback for the Dolphins?
I'm just gonna put it. I'm just gonna put it this way: the Miami Dolphins have put man, yo, they've impressed me. They put up a fight, but they putting up a fight. I was worried about them not putting up a fight, but no. The second part to that, no. McDaniel's might get to keep his job, but if he don't look to replace Tua, he won't have it. You know what I'm saying?
Not getting jumped. Goodness.
But yeah, yes, Trey. I think you got to look a different way than Tua, man. If you really want to advance the Dolphins, you got to look a different way than Tua, and perhaps even look for a better defensive coordinator. You gotta do something to help your team out a little bit. I mean, I don't know Anthony Weaver. I know Anthony Weaver as a player. I don't really know all his credentials of why he got that defensive coordinator job. Maybe it's a step up or something from a linebacker coach or something, but he still need to work on the X's and O's. And McDaniels needs to realize. Do you realize what he did in that game to keep his team in the game? Something that he ain't done since he's been there. He started running. Look at the film. He was running two tight ends. He was doing different things. He was putting blockers in. There you go. Secret. Instead of running all this motion and all this crazy stuff, you putting some blockers on the field. Wow. Your quarterback got time to throw the ball sometimes with an extra blocker on the field. Like, man, make the game simpler for yourself, McDaniels. I mean, you're a good brain, but now use it to play against your peers. This game is about contemporaries, right? That's why it's called the NFL. Like coaches don't want you, which I want to get to that. Shadur Sanders before we get to our picks real quick.
Oh yeah, definitely, no
Uh,
doubt.
the Shadur Sanders, man, look, Shadur gonna get a chance to show his stuff against the Raiders this weekend, and it's about during time. I've been crying for it. I've been calling for it. Like let's get it. Watch the viewership on that game. That game is gonna be ridiculous because of this young man, man. This young man is
So
a
do you think
phenom
it's
and
safe to
a 4 and
say?
16.
So do you think it's safe to say that there's a no excuse watch coming up for Shadur based on the fact of he looked all right once he got a chance to kind of like settle in, but of course it was talked about how he doesn't really get any burn with the first unit and all that type of stuff, and then he's thrown in against the first unit to play. He gets a week, he has an opportunity. Due to Gabriel is going to be out, like you said, it's against the Raiders. Is there going to be a litmus test? Is it going to be enough for him for them to continue to be like, okay, we're going. If he looks good, do we stay with Shador or do we once Gabriel passes concussion protocol, we get him back in the game? Is that going to be a situation? Do you think? I mean, it's a little presumptuous because we don't know what Shador is going to look like and he hasn't played yet. But just thinking, like, I wonder. Which I mean, I guess we'll see. But do you think it was a bad situation? How he handled that loss and is going to sit on the sideline and all that type of stuff. I know Ryan was on him about that, or do you think it was rightfully so, and it's gonna come with time?
Man, I think it's his time, man. Like, look here, take that job, audition for your next job, not in Cleveland. Cleveland don't Cleveland don't know what the heck they doing with quarterbacks anyway. Why would you take their opinion? I heard a thing they done had 42 quarterbacks since 1999. Since that expensive team started, they've had 42 quarterbacks. 42. Like, so that tells you they don't know quarterback. Deshaun Watson was a great quarterback. He missed 1 year of football, and then look at what he's done with Cleveland. Look at what happened to Baker Mayfield. Man, they chew you up and spit you out. They don't know what they're doing at quarterback in Cleveland as an organization. So, Shadur, this is your audition to get the heck up out of Cleveland and go somewhere where you can play some meaningful football, because they're going to keep running through quarterbacks over there, because evidently that's what they do. They don't know how to pick a quarterback. Like, for real. Like, how they say, pick a horse and stick with it. They don't know how to pick one, because they've had some good ones, and they've got some right now that went elsewhere and thrived in the league. But so I don't want to hear nothing about Cleveland. Man, this is not your litmus test. This is your chance to audition. This is an audition for another crack at another team when they let you go. Just be, just be ready, because I don't think it matters what he does there. It's clear Stefanski doesn't want that guy there. That's clear. That's clear that, yeah, he probably was an owner's pick in the fifth round and not a Stefanski pick. I mean, you can just see the writing on the wall with that. So, Shador, do well against the Raiders, earn yourself a chance to play the following week, and then we'll see what you got.
So now going back, right? One more, then I got something else to bring up that you was just saw. We just struck something, made me think about it. I'm gonna try. I should have wrote it down, but hopefully I'll remember when it come back. Carolina, Carolina, mm, Car- uh, Carolina, $3.24 for a ticket. Panthers have made an emergence, popped up on the scene, kicking the dough, waving the fofo. They swept Atlanta, which means it gives them the one up in the division. Bryce Young, 448 yards passing. Bijan Robinson does what Bijan Robinson does expectantly. But of course, they got a 1-2 punch in Dwaddle and Hubbard, and not to
Hubbard.
mention they have someone running back in weight that hasn't touched because of his injuries from last year, and then of course Satora McMillan, 130 yards receiving. Um,
Hey, Bryce was on my no excuses list, man. And Bryce starting to turn it up a little bit. I'm still not overly excited with his game, but he getting better. I mean, he getting better. So it's not the race ain't given to the swift. You know, you seeing the ones he came in with. You seeing some of them regress. You know what I'm saying? Mainly like C.J. Stroud, who we was hype on 3 years ago. I know he injured right now, but Stroud wasn't playing all that well when he was healthy. So I'm just saying, you see in the regression, and you see it now. Hey, you starting to see that championship pedigree that Bryce Young was cultivating from his Alabama days on, man. Like, you starting to see this dude is but I think for me, I think he still got to show the NFL game, man, because that's what everybody want to see. That's what I'm saying about Shador. The game is not so much X's and O's as understanding what the coach wants from you and a system. Every coach got their own system. Every offensive coordinator got whatever game plan they want. That so you got to learn to play that game, and you got to learn to play it at that pace. That's what I'm hearing. The problem with Jalen Hurts is right now, like, coaches, he going out there doing his own thing on the field. When the game plan is this, he's doing his own thing. But hey, man, say his way winning. But I'm just saying, Jalen Hurts might be out of a job in a year or two. He keeps that up because it's about playing within a system, man. That's what the NFL is. That's what it's always been. I always felt like you should cater to your quarterback a little bit more. But hey,
so when
hey,
when you look at it, it's definitely that, like, yeah, I mean, but we know Jalen Hurts isn't going to be out, just like Kyler Murray is going to be someone's treasure if Arizona decides to move on from him, just like the conversation now about Mac Jones leaving San Francisco to go be in Minnesota next year to give McCarthy equal a peer to sit up and compete with, to sit up and let them know like you had your opportunity, it was kind of missed, and this is where we're at right now. But I sit up and but I save this question for I say that question for Sunday. But it's just one of those things when you look at it. So Jalen Hurts, we know if 2 years from now, depending on what's in the league and where they're at, the possibility of him ended up being no longer being the franchise quarterback for the Eagles. But we do know that of course it's going to be likely that he would be a franchise
Dude,
quarterback somewhere.
dude, right now, maybe 2 years from now, but right now, name a team that would be beating down the door for Jalen Hurts. I
The
mean, I'm just
Raiders.
saying. You really
Um
think so? This guy ain't even throwing 200 yards a game, bro. Like, and he's saying that it's on him. He's saying because he don't want to. That's what he's telling you. So what coach is gonna put up with that? Like for real, the Eagles don't want to put up with it right now. They tried to keep it in. AJ Brown tried to keep it, but now we know what AJ Brown was talking about. Now we know what his anger is directed towards. When I heard what Jalen Hurts was saying, man, on the interviews, on the press conference, man, I said, "Wow, really, bro? That's what it is. That's what it is. You know, like that's really what it is. Like, yeah, you ain't gonna be on that kind of time too long in the league. Ain't nobody gonna want to put up with that. Like, for real, nobody gonna want to put up with that. And then your numbers are Philly. We got to remember, Philly, the same team that dropped Carson Wentz when he was having like an MVP season. What are you talking about? So they don't. So they don't care about that.
So right now, of course, the game is getting ready. It started has started. Where you have like the tonight's game, the Buffalo Bills facing off against the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans coming off of a dub over the Tennessee Titans by the score of 16-13. David Mills is 274 yards passing. Um, Woody Marks rushed for 44 yards. Nico Collins it was 92 yards receiving, and then of course the Buffalo Bills faced off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in which they had a game, but Josh Allen looking pretty good, 317 yards receiving, I mean passing. And then their top receivers in that game was Shavers, and top rusher was Sean Tucker. So we have a game where you have the Buffalo Bills, who were pretty potent initially starting off in the season, currently looking at sitting under the New England Patriots, and then the Houston Texans, who had all this grandeur where they're coming in, and of course they're sitting up back looking, sitting back out the driver's seat. Um, First and foremost, before we go any further, let's get that out the way. Buffalo, Houston, who you got, CC?
Um, I know Houston on the upswing with this Davis Mill, but I'm taking Buffalo. I'm taking Buffalo tonight. Gonna be a good defensive game though, in my mind.
I would hope that'd be a good defensive game. I'm taking Buffalo as well. When I look at it, it's a lot of stuff lacking in Houston at this point. You have Nico Collins that's who's on the upswing, but saying Tank Dell isn't around. It's like the expectation of what this team could be fall short. They're missing a couple of players on defense, but they're still sticking around for the most part. I don't know if this is going to be a year where they're going to make the playoffs again, but they're currently, like I said, sticking around. So we see that, of course, like I said, I know business working. We'll see. Very sure hopefully he'll get us before it gets the score gets too lopsided where his pick could be suspect.
He Buffalo. I'm looking at it right here on my phone. He picked Buffalo.
Oh, he said Buffalo. Okay,
He picked Buffalo. Y'all three picked Buffalo. Look like. Wish I
Buffalo.
known
All
that
right, so
attitude. Wish I known. I just want to get the rain to go against it. Nah, I'm just playing. Um, before we get out of here, man, I really want to say about we were talking about our top five quarterbacks last
yes,
Sunday. Yes. And my, how things just switched really quick. I had Sam Darnold up there. He threw 4 interceptions. He's still my man, but he threw 4 interceptions against the Rams. I'm not gonna hold it against him because that just means that McVay got your number, bro. That's twice you stunk against him in so-called big situations. Like he just got your number. Sam Darnold, hang in there, man. You'll be all right. You just gotta learn how to play against McVay. McVay got something for you. He's throwing everything at you. He's seeing your weaknesses. So Hopefully, you and your coach can review the film and review the tape and stuff and see where he's getting you at, and you get your get back when it's time. For real.
I mean, sometimes it happen like that. His get back could be potentially coming in the NFC Championship game. We don't know. It's definitely one of those situations. Just like for the second last year, you think about it. Honestly, the Los Angeles Rams were close to knocking off the Philadelphia Eagles in that game. Like it came up short. Had it been different, had the weather been different, would it have been made a difference? There's a lot of stuff that comes in play. So definitely some stuff to sit up and take a look at. But of course, like CC was saying, we don't want to give up too much because we got a Sunday game, of course, to talk about. We didn't get a chance to talk about the rise or the fall of the Indianapolis Colts. But of course, that's by design. Like we want to make sure we got enough content for 2 hours on Sunday. And then plenty more to talk off, a little more in depth with all three of us here. Of course, we're gonna have to hear Bishop Bolson brag about the defense for the Philadelphia Eagles. We're gonna hear him boast and brag because we said something about Jacksonville and they sit up and scraped the Chargers up 35-6.
They
So
beat
we're
them
gonna
up.
hear
Now,
something
that's a
about
game we
that.
should have talked about. Hats off to Trevor Lawrence. Hats off to Trevor. Man, I mean, Chargers. I don't know Harbaugh. I'm confused that a Jim Harbaugh team ain't consistent. You know what I mean? I mean, they on a roller coaster ride right now. Patch those injuries up, man, and let's get back to moving. Like for real. Like Jim, figure it out. 'Cause that's horrible. That's horrible that you lose to a team like Jacksonville, and you're supposed to be a playoff worthy team. Like we can't talk contender. We can just talk maybe wild card.
I mean, but like you said, it's still plenty of football to be played. It's not like it's not like it is with the fantasy football. Like fantasy football season is about to come to an end soon because you're getting closer and closer to the end of that because it's like 3 or 4 games left, and then we start to get to the playoffs. While the NFL is still going through their 7 games, 6 games. So it's a little time. They got a little time, but we will see it. But that's our time for today. Like you said, be sure to catch us out on Sunday 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. We'll be back and talking about it. And then, of course, again, the following Thursday, which will be Thanksgiving Thursday, maybe we'll get some little stuff to talk about that. That'll be an early day for us as we get ready, even saying to do what we got to do to enjoy the weekend. But of course, we'll be on this three games, so we're gonna talk about those 3 games and the last week's games before y'all get into y'all day. CC, any last words before we get up out of here?
Man, y'all just enjoy the game, enjoy the evening. Uh, and my Texans fans, man, don't feel bad that I keep rooting against y'all. Just keep proving me wrong.
And that's where it is from the Houstonian, you know what I'm saying? It's gotta be rough. I remember I was I started out as a Los Angeles Raiders fan back when there was the Rams, the Raiders, and then in like I said, like I always say, in '86 is when I made my switch from cheering on the silver and black to cheering on the gold diggers up the bay, and it's been that since. So you know what I'm saying, we all turn. It's not too late for you to make a change, you see. It's not too late
No,
for you to
no,
make a
no, no,
change.
no. You see that star behind me? Enough said.
So enjoy y'all's night. Check out the game. Be sure to tap back in if you haven't already subscribed to or see subscriptions or to the YouTube or to the or put it in to where you get a notification where we sit up and hit the live button for this. Go ahead and do that so y'all can be a part of the show. Holla at us on Sunday. Y'all enjoy y'all night. It's the weekend is weekend the weekend eve. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.